In his 75th year, the former Emir of Qatar, Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, has died. He turned a tiny country of fishermen into one of the richest states in the world. And to this day, the wildest rumors still swirl around his private life, of betrayals, hidden wives, and battles for the throne. Among his wives, the legendary Sheikha Moza, more than 20 children, palaces all over the world, and a plane converted into a flying residence. But what is the real cause of his death? Who were the wives kept hidden all these years? How did an enemy of the family become his own relative? What tragedies from their lives remain little known? And what secrets does the Qatari royal family still keep? Today, around 3 million people live in Qatar. The world only began to talk about this small nation seriously after the FIFA World Cup in 2022. Everything changed once Hamad came to power. Over his 18 years in power, he changed the heir to the throne 3 times. What happened behind the palace walls is still spoken about in Qatar only in whispers. But more on that later. Hamad bin Khalifa was born in 1952 in Doha. He was the eldest son of the crown prince at that time. His mother died soon after he was born. The boy was raised by his uncle. The future emir studied at Sandhurst Military Academy in Britain, the very same academy that trained English princes and the heirs of half the Arab world. When he came back home, 19-year-old Hamad was married off to his cousin, Sheikha Maryam bint Mohammed Al Thani. Their marriage was arranged by their parents, as is customary in the ruling families of the Arab world. Maryam bore Hamad 8 children. She never gave interviews. She never appeared on magazine covers. To the outside world, she seemed to dissolve behind the palace walls. And yet, it was her son who was supposed to become the next emir of Qatar. Later, Hamad also took a 3rd wife, Sheikha Noura bint Khalid Al Thani, yet another cousin. She bore him 9 children and, like Maryam, almost never appeared in public life. But his 2nd wife? The whole world knows her. On becoming crown prince, he married Moza bint Nasser. Her father was an influential businessman and an opposition figure. His conflict with the ruler of Qatar landed him in prison, and after his release, he took the family to Kuwait. That is where Moza grew up, educated, ambitious, and quite unlike other Qatari girls. Later, she returned to Doha, entered university, and caught the attention of the crown prince. The feud between their families did not stop Hamad from marrying her. Moza bore him 7 children and gradually became the one woman whose opinion he actually listened to. Many believe it was Moza herself who played a key role in the coup of 1995. That summer, Sheikh Khalifa left for a holiday in Switzerland, and his son Hamad declared himself the ruler of Qatar. It was a bloodless coup that opened a new chapter in the country's history. When Khalifa bin Hamad learned of the coup, he publicly disowned his son and made an unsuccessful attempt to reclaim power. For many years, he lived in exile in France and was only able to return to Qatar in 2004, after reconciling with his son. But what is the real secret behind the emir's death? And why was the throne passed between his sons more than once? The new ruler, Hamad, carried out sweeping reforms, ramped up gas production, and turned Qatar into the country with the highest per capita income in the world. And Sheikha Moza quickly stepped out of the shadows. She took up education as her cause, became a UNESCO special envoy, and made it onto Forbes' list of the world's 100 most powerful women. But the stronger her role became, the more urgent the palace's central question grew. Whose son would one day inherit all of Qatar? Mishal, the eldest son of Hamad, by his first wife, Maryam. And in 1995, on coming to power, Hamad named him Crown Prince of Qatar. But just a year later, Mishal was removed from the line of succession, and the new crown prince became the eldest son of Sheikha Moza, Jassim. Hamad never announced an official reason for this change. After that, one thing was clear: being the eldest and being the son of the first wife no longer guaranteed a path to the throne. But even this was not the last drama in the Emir's family. Jassim was actively groomed to become Emir. He studied at a military academy, gained experience, attended international summits. It seemed the matter was settled. But in 2003, he renounced his right to the throne. His place as crown prince was taken by his younger full brother, Tamim, another son of Moza. An official reason for Jassim's abdication was never given. According to rumours, he asked for it himself. Some spoke of poor health, others of his unwillingness to carry such a heavy burden. Another version has it that Moza herself stood behind it all, believing that her younger son Tamim was the more talented politician and better suited to the throne. Whether this is the truth or only rumour, only those who were inside the palace know for sure. But soon Hamad had to make a decision that changed not the fate of his wives and children, but his own. In 2013, Hamad abdicated in favour of Tamim and stepped away from the political stage. Political analysts say that Sheikha Moza managed to pull off something extraordinary. In a patriarchal country, she built what is effectively a matriarchy. Even after her husband retired and power passed to her son, she is still considered one of the most influential women in the country and in the world. In his final years, Hamad appeared in public less and less. And there was a reason for that: serious health problems. As far back as 30 years ago, the Emir underwent his first kidney transplant. Later, there was a second one. And in the last years of his life, Hamad was on dialysis. In 2015, all of this was joined by a serious leg fracture sustained on a holiday in the mountains of Morocco. The ruler was rushed to Zurich on a special flight. From that point on, his public appearances grew rarer still, and the official photographs ever scarcer. And so, on July 12, 2026, the Emir's office released a brief statement. The father Emir had died that morning at the age of 74. The cause of death was not officially named. But it is known that in patients who have been on dialysis for years, immune defences grow weaker, and the risk of severe infections and cardiovascular complications rises significantly. It is possible that one of these was the cause of death. But this has not been officially confirmed. A 4-day period of national mourning has been declared across Qatar. Flags are flying at half-mast. The work of ministries and state institutions has come to a halt. Condolences to the Emir's family are pouring in from leaders around the world. Sheikh Hamad was laid to rest at Lusail Cemetery in Doha. He is gone, leaving behind not only a country the whole world now knows, but an entire generation of Qataris who grew up in a different, new era, the one he gave to his people. And his name now belongs forever to the history of Qatar. Subscribe to the channel, share this video. See you soon.